Namaste, dear Homeopaths. Encouraged by the strong positive response that I received in the past for this particular blog post for MCH registration renewal and the number of queries that are pouring in for the new NCH update on the MCH website. Sharing a very quick and small video. This is a very simple, straightforward process. You would have received an SMS. In case you are wary of clicking on links received in your SMS due to security reasons, you can go directly on the mchmumbai.org website. In case you have not received the SMS but are registered with MCH, still please go directly to the mchmumbai.org website and click on this red link form A updating program for NCH. Here is the circular for NCH. Those who have kind of asked for a translation of this, pretty straightforward, and while we should be able to read this very easily, still for those who are struggling with it, it's about NCH, that is the National Commission for Homeopathy, and this has been formed in 2020 as per the new rules and guidelines, and this is the one that we all will be registered with. We'll have a database there. So going on to this particular form, clicking on this form opens up a new page. So in case you have a pop-up blocker enabled, please make sure you disable that. I'm currently using Chrome, but the same should be applicable in Safari. I am going to go ahead with my basic details. Before you start with this, in case you don't already remember your Aadhaar number, Aadhaar, then you should keep that handy. Most of your photos would be your passport photo, especially the one that you use in your documents, should be under 500 KB. If not, you can use on a Mac you can use the preview app, or on Windows you can use the Paint app or the photo app to resize it. Preferably not to use online tools for such reasons, for security purposes, and this does not need to be as live as your Aadhaar photo, neither should it be as fancy as your Instagram DP. Something professional like your LinkedIn DP would be ideal. So those passport photos are good enough. For security, this is obviously found on your registration certificate and would be very easy to get. For security purposes, obviously I'm not going to go ahead with this, and I'll jump to the next step after this. There were a few queries, some instances where the details that were asked for above were pre-filled. Well, if you have used this website in the past, I tend to use everything in incognito, but if you have used it in the past, then Chrome or the browser would have saved those details and pre-filled it. MCH as the site has not saved any of these details because this does not go via the login medium. Now we don't really need to go into all of these details here, but they have definitely given separate columns. Earlier I was expecting that typing in the pin code would auto populate something here, which is very doable, but that's not the case. But it's fairly straightforward here, and there's no change that should be done. You should stick to what was already given. In case of female homeopaths who have given their husband's name here, it would make sense to enter your father's name here as well, because that is how it will get updated in the registry, no other reason, and one does not need to read too much into any other aspect of this. Although these fields look to be marked in red, they are not compulsory, and Indian is the only option here. The last query that most people had was what to mention here in case you're not attached to a teaching institute or a hospital, but it does say practice of medicine. So theoretically speaking, not applicable is a fairly straightforward answer, but practically speaking, I feel the best thing to do would be to mention your own clinic name, and if you are the only one at the clinic, your own name for legal issues would be the right thing to mention here. In case of major institutions, sometimes there is a separate departmental legal team whose name would have to be mentioned here, or if you're tied up with for the practitioners of modern medicine, IMA and AMC offer a lot of these services, and it's very useful there. You can pick a file from your computer. Just make sure that the extension is, you can pick a file from the computer, just make sure that the extension is JPG or JPEG, not a PNG or a PDF. I'm just going to show how that works at the end before submitting the form. You click on after you click on upload at this file, the page refreshes and starts at the top. Don't get confused, scroll down and see if this image is available here. If you notice that this image is uploaded here, then you're doing fine. Just click on submit and wait for this to enter. Okay, now that's a surprising error, but I shall have to take care of that and repeat the details again. This is our only confirmation that the record has been submitted. There's no reference number. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this whole thing, but there's no reference number there. So that's where we stand with that. And I hope this was helpful. Let's hope this is all a step in the right direction, and we look forward to the other changes that are brought forth by NCH and MCH. Thank you. All the best.